Docs Automator has launched a little while ago, and I kind of have been avoiding it. You see, my favorite tool for creating PDFs has been Documint, but lately they've introduced a few things that kind of annoyed me, and I've been shopping around. Will I be switching to Docs Automator? Stick with me to the end of the video, and I'll give you my full thoughts on whether or not it's a good idea for you. So we usually start things off with a demo. Now, the purpose of this video is not so much to kind of like teach you how to do this. This is kind of like my first impressions. Essentially, we have Airtable, we have a simple automation that processes data from Airtable database. I'm just going to run this so that you can see what comes out at the end, and then I'll show you how I came to do this. The first mission here is to actually generate a PDF. While we're waiting, let's kick things off with Docs Automator. Essentially, as soon as you log in, the quickest way to get started, I would say, is press new automation, and it will create a new automation. You can select your data source. Now, for the sake of the example, I've already created one in earlier, our data source being the API. I'll talk about this. I'll show you what that is, but essentially you have to pick a data source. Could be Google Sheets, could be Airtable, Smart Suite, and etc., or it could be the API. The bad news, especially for people who like to use make.com like we do, is that they don't have a native make module yet. They have Zapier, they are also working on an A10 as far as I know, but not Make. So the first sort of main issue, if you like to use Make, is that there's no native thing for you to use. So you have to end up with, creating something like this, which is just a custom HTTPS call. It's a little bit annoying. You can get away with it. You have to create a custom data structure. It's annoying. So that's one annoying thing out of the gate. Now let's go back to template design. I have chosen API. In terms of creating templates, you can very easily check out their list of templates. Let me just show you what that looks like. It's a very long list. There is like a huge template gallery. There's everything and anything that you'll ever need in terms of PDF templates that you can generate. That's all very well and good. Other thing that I would say is, well, it kind of works. As soon as you set things up, and let me just show you what my template looks like. I'm going to press edit again. And this is my template. It's in fact one of the templates that they have readily available. You do have to put placeholders in. This is, I think, where we can start to talk about some of the annoying things that I find when it comes to actually working on a template. The first thing is you have to remember prefixes. So they have certain keywords like image, for instance, that you have to add in order for then to get the PDF to actually work. So if I open up the one that I just generated, we should see it here. And of course, I didn't actually put an image there, but you can see how we have images in our line items, and I'm going to talk about this in a sec. Let's talk about some more complicated things like loops within loops, creating line items, and some other special things that Docs Automator brings to the table. Time to talk a little bit about more complicated things. When we're generating PDFs, especially with Documint, we tend to bump into challenging cases. Usually, challenging cases revolve around creating nested groups of data. If you are looking to use Docs Automator for nested arrays, I've got bad news. They can do groups. So as you can see here from their documents, we can see that you can do grouping in general, but like only one level. Maybe you can do more, but I don't think you can. It's just like one little group, as you can see here. The reality is that very often we have to do groups within groups. So Docs Automator, just for that, for us, it's not great. Another interesting point, and this is me being a little bit nitpicky about this, there's no syntax. One major thing that we usually use within Documint is the fact that they have their own syntax. We can run our functions. So for instance, just like you have this group here where every line item has a cost, all you have to do in Documint is to just add a little to a particular variable, and that will sum up all the numbers from a particular set of line items, for instance. And that's just one example of the many things that you can do with the functions. However, it's not exactly the same case with Docs Automator. You basically would end up having to make the calculations in the back end in order for that data to then be mapped into the template. I would say that Docs Automator is not too bad. There is a key demographic for this, probably people who just need a very simple document to generate and they want it done fairly inexpensively. It is cheaper than Documint, but again, for us, I would say we probably won't be using this anytime soon. In no particular order, I would say I have like 4 things that really are not for us. Number 1, I would say the lack of nested arrays is a little bit of a downer. We can't live without that. We need ability to flexibly create complicated structures within our documents. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would say that there's no native make connector. That is also putting us off because it makes our life that much harder. It takes longer for us to generate documents. Point number 3 is a little bit more nitpicky, but I would say that the fact that I have to constantly remember prefixes, whether it's for images or for line items or groups of line items, and I have to like create suffix, and I have to remember it so that I can then put it back in make, and it just adds to that friction in general. Again, super nitpicky, but still annoying when it comes to like images. So for instance, when we generated this document here, I initially just mapped the image in and, you know, who knows what will happen. But technically you can jump in and you can make adjustments to the height and width, but you don't do it in, you know, like a drag and drop sort of thing. You have to open up that variable and you have to like give me the pixel number for the maximum height. This is a bit of a oxymoron because I would think that this platform is for people who just need a document and it needs to be as easy as possible. Some things are harder than even pros like us tend to expect. Not that it's really hard, but you get it. But at the end of the day, it's a cheaper product. You're sort of expecting some of these things to be there. This was a bit of a strange video for me because I actually like the team behind Docs Automator. Rupert is awesome and what he's built here, and he's one of those OGs of low code. Beautiful product. I'm really rooting for them. It would be nice to have a great replacement for Documint. I kind of expected more. Of course, less expensive product compared to the competition. I guess for simple stuff, it's not a bad idea. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.